The sport of fencing has a lot of depth to it, so today I will only be scratching the surface. Let's start off with the three types of weapons. You have the saber, foil, and epee. I only fence foil, but I'll briefly mention the other two. In saber, you fence in a slashing or cutting manner, so you have to use the full length of the blade. In saber, you can hit anywhere above the waist, including the arms and the head. In epee, you have a heavier sword with a bigger guard, and you can hit anywhere on the body. You can try to hit your opponent's toes, but just keep in mind that they might retaliate. Last but not least is foil. In foil, you can only hit the torso or chest area. There is a little bib you can hit on the helmet, but that is only there because it overlaps the chest area. With such a small area you can hit, foil obviously takes the most skill because you need such precision. In foil and epee, your touches are only recorded when you hit with the end of the sword on a valid target area. In saber, you fence with a slashing or cutting motion, so you can use the entire length of the blade. There are a lot more intricacies in fencing, such as right-of-way, but let's just jump into gear now. You obviously have a helmet to protect your head, and your helmets can have some custom designs on it if they're approved, so this can give you some customization and flair. You have a glove to protect your hands, and then you have the electric gear, which includes wires and an electric vest, so that touches are recorded through the electrical rig. Fencing is a really fast-paced sport, so referees rely on the electric system to see who got hit. Under your electric vest, you wear a full set of white, and this includes pants, a long sleeve, and another small chest layer called a plastron. You also need long socks to cover up your legs, but these do not have to be white. Fencing is a very safe sport with all this protection and gear. Oh, and you of course need the fencing sword. When going to a tournament, I usually have extra blades, so I usually carry 3 so that if one breaks, I can continue to fence. I talked about in the beginning how you can only hit with the end of the blade with foil, so here's the pin. The foil also has a small guard that you can use to parry. You see here that I have a pistol grip on my blade, but you can also change the grip that you have on your blades. Gear out of the way, let's talk more logistics. The fencing strip is where fencers are on when they fence, and it is 14 meters in length, and the width can vary from 1.5 to 2 meters. If a fencer steps off the side while fencing, they have to move back as a penalty. If a fencer goes off the back end of the strip, the other person is awarded a point. Alright, let's talk about some math connections. Position, velocity, and acceleration are all factors in fencing. Positioning yourself on the strip is very important because you want to have good spacing. You can get caught up in all the blade work, but a fencer with better positioning probably has a better chance to win. Fencing also involves velocity. You need speed and direction to move around while fencing, and this will relate to acceleration later. Fencing is talked about in tempos, and one tempo is the time it takes for one advance and one lunge. You have to exploit your opponent when they have 0 velocity, and that's when they're changing direction. You have to use your tempo to attack while they are in the middle of changing directions, because that is when they are susceptible to your attack. I win this exchange because my opponent tries to flick, but he misses my helmet and I go in for a counterattack. Acceleration is also key because you need to vary the timing of your attacks and parries. Acceleration plays a crucial role in closing the gap while fencing. I advance here to get the attack, but my opponent retreats, so I have to accelerate to close in the distance. Integrating all this math knowledge into a real fencing game can be hard because you still have to do the physical actions, but if you are successful, hopefully you can win a fencing game.